Hello again. Today I'm going to be painting this terrace street with a cat sitting on a bin. I took this photo on my way to work. This friendly, I think it's a ragdoll cat. Anyway, he's lovely. He'll always run across the street and ask for strokes. Really nice cat. There's a beautiful basket of hanging flowers, and then a wall that cuts across the front of the house by the edge of the street, and the gate. And with all these straight lines with doorways and walls and windows, I have a feeling this is going to be a pretty wonky painting. Such is my inability to draw and paint in straight lines. There's a lovely flower box right here as well, with some tulips in. This is why it's good to use the pencil. I can see that I haven't quite got that window box in the correct place, which is fine. It doesn't matter if details aren't exact. But I want to make sure that they at least line up in a way which works with the perspective. I don't want things to look too off. So I'll start off by washing in the red brick because there's so much of it. I'm going to try my best to leave space for the windows and doors and the cat. The colour I've mixed together is a combination of reds and browns and a little bit of orange. I think that's about as close to the brick that I'll be able to get. I'm just trying to find my way in my sketch here, try and figure out where the windows are and the walls are. I'm going to add a few more dabs of colour into this area. I don't mind if it's a little bit stronger here, because it's sort of where the focal point will be with the cat sat on the bin. And next I'll get some blue in for the bin. The blue bin here is the recycling bin, so it's good to know this cat is environmentally friendly. Seems like the front of the bin here is the darker area, so I'll maybe just add a little bit more colour to that. Might just absorb that little bit of paint there that's gathered. And next to the blue bin, we've got the grey bin, and that is for your general waste. And I'll see if I can just blend a little bit more colour in there while everything's still so wet with that first coat. That'll do for now. And there's a wall here that's a creamy yellow colour. As I move down the street, there's a wooden door which I'll wash in with some brown mixed with a little bit of red to warm it up a little bit. The beautiful hanging basket at the front of the house. I added enough water to that to hydrate the plants for a good month, so just taking some out. Then a couple of other hanging baskets further down the street. It's lovely that everybody's so house proud. Whenever I try and put out flowers, they seem to die within a day. There's quite a lot of windows, so I think I'm going to wash those in with a blue and green concoction. I'll use the same wash for all the windows down the street. Maybe a different brush. I think that's worked out pretty well as a base. Add something in for the window box as well. Just the green foliage for now. And also up here, this picture is infringing slightly on my workspace. I might need to take that out at some point. And now I want to be very careful, because if I get this cat wrong, it was all for nothing. So I'm going to be very careful and layer this furry fella up bit by bit. Start off with quite a light grey, and then I'll build up from there. There we go. While I'm there, I'll just add a little bit more of the black in. Just darken it up a little bit. Actually, when I look in his fur, there's some warmer tones in there, almost red. So I'm applying a little bit of that in. There, I'll leave him there for now. There's so much brick in this picture. I've tried before a technique where I add some damp areas, your general brickwork, with paint, and then I go in with a paper towel and remove some of that. It had quite a nice effect. I'm wondering if I can apply the same technique here. Just try a different brush for a little bit more control, see if that makes a difference. Well, I'm not sure I'm getting away with that, but luckily all is not lost. I can go back later and try to improve on it. Just gone over the brickwork with brown with a bit of orange to bring out some of this orange pigment I can see. Maybe I'll highlight a few bricks as well with the same colour. Not many, just I'll pick out a few and add this warmer tone in, see if that breaks things up a little bit. I'm going to try adding just a very, very light wash in for the window frame and the surround. I feel like it needed something. There's just too much white space there. This door frame here, I'll add the same blue wash in a few areas. While I'm there, I'll just add in a window pane at the top. There, that looks a little bit more complete. I'm going to move down the wall and define that with a bit more colour. A little bit of water here. I'll use that same colour to add in some hard lines for the tops of the wall. It's sort of all cracked and jagged. A little bit of texture by adding some of that paint in with a rough dry brush. It's pretty grubby along the top here, so I'm going to use a different brush to add a little bit of brown to the top of the wall. I think I might work on this blue bin now. Get a few more darks in. Try and build the shape up. go. And then the light is coming in from over here, so I'll keep this area a little lighter. Maybe just blend this a little bit more. And then there's the bin next to it. I have to be a bit more careful here because I'm using a darker colour. I don't want that to dominate the image. So I'll try not to be too heavy-handed. Just adding in a touch of yellow to brighten that up just a smidge, but got to be careful really, because I don't want it to look out of place. I'll just leave it like that. Just getting something in for the front gate. I'm hoping I can get away with just a few swirls and a little bit of a pattern without it catching the eye. There are lots of wobbly lines there. I think I might try and get in some of these bricks. Oh my goodness, that was way off. I'm not loving the hard edge. Just remove some of the paint. There's quite a few shadows. I've mixed up some black and brown here. I'm going to see if they create the desired effect. I'm going to add in some additional details now, like the letterbox on the door. And there's a door handle. So I'll go in with a little bit of grey. Just again, a few marks. A little doorbell here, which might be a little bit too pedantic of me. For the windows, adding some of the lines in for the panes where they meet the surround outside. I'm going to use like a bottle green colour. Very wobbly. Use a little bit of water to soften that up. Up in the flower basket, there's some lovely red flowers. I'm going to put in some deep red and add a bit of orange there too. I'm going to layer up this hanging basket with a few greens. Some brown in there. Actually, I can see that there is a shadow from that, so I do need to get that in. Add in the chain as well that's it's hanging from. Some lovely yellow flowers in there too. Maybe do a few hanging over the edge. And go back to this handsome fella now. A little bit of yellow, very soft, in his wonderful mane. He's got a cute little pink nose, and I'm sure this is going to be too small to pick up, but I would be doing him a disservice if I didn't try and add that in. Before I go in with more black, I'm going to add some of those warm tones I can see in his coat. Just a little touch here and there. Not putting too much water onto the brush, because I want to maintain some control over the paint. It's a little bit of a shadow under his jaw here. Be careful. I'm a little bit worried that I'm making him look much more mangy than he actually is. Down the right, I'm being much more generous with the dark tones now. A lot more black in there. I'm going to keep this side lighter and this side darker. And now that he is safely situated, I'll add a bit more in for the bin. Trying to concentrate on the darker areas now. Maybe I'll get a bit of that blue into the shadow as well to give that a bit more colour. And I'll do the same for the bin next to it, the black bin. I want these flowers to pop slightly more, so I'm going to add quite a bright orange in. Hopefully that will make them a little bit more luminous. Maybe I'll work that down into the basket a little bit too. And in the background, in this window box, there's some lovely looking pops of colour. Some tulips and some purple flowers too. I have no idea what they are. Painting in the window box for the flowers. I'm trying not to go too strong here with the colour. Going to add in a few stems and general flicks for the foliage. Go a little bit darker at the base, I think. See how that looks. Yeah, I'll put a bit of variation of colour in here as well. These baskets, make sure they don't look too flat. A shadow down the side of this door here. Start off blue. Might add a little bit of brown in there. There we go, let those bleed together. I'll use the same concoction for this door here. This wooden door has a bit more of a pattern to it, so I'll suggest that with a few brush strokes. Adding a pane of glass at the top. I'm going to wash over a few areas with some yellow. Just a few yellow accents in a few select areas. I just like the way they brighten up the image, especially in the areas that I want to be the main focus. So the paint is pretty dry now. So I'm going to go in with a fine liner and start picking out some detail. I'm going to be quite light with how much ink I apply here. I want to keep it pretty sketchy. Just looking for a few areas where the pen can help improve, like the clarity and the impact. Especially in the darker areas. few little dashes in the hanging basket will help separate out the leaves and the flowers, add a bit more depth beyond. And then with these bricks, I think I'm just gonna be very sparing. Just a little mark here and there. I'll lift this wall out of the shadow a little bit too. And then as we move into the background here, I'm not really going to add too much ink here at all, maybe the odd flick and dot. But this isn't really where I want the eye to be landing. I want that to sort of fade off into the distance. So there we have it. A cat sat on a bin in the sunshine. Hopefully I've done him justice. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.